A woman doesn't choose you with logic. She senses you, your energy, your calm, your mystery before a single word is spoken. Within 10 seconds, you've already been categorized. Either you're the man she wants, the one she'll keep on standby, or the one she'll forget by tomorrow. It doesn't matter what you say. It's the way you walk into the room, how you hold eye contact, whether your silence feels like power or desperation. Most men fail right there, trying too hard, giving too much, chasing connection instead of commanding presence. Because women don't respond to effort, they respond to effect. And if your effect is weak, if your energy screams, "Please like me," she won't even register you as a man worth desiring. But when your presence is unshakable, when you're detached, aware, and rooted in your own gravity, she feels it in her body before her mind can explain it. That's not manipulation, that's magnetism, and it starts from within. This is Stoic seduction, the art of creating desire without words, building impact without performing, and letting her feel drawn to you. Not because you tried, but because you didn't have to. Number 1. The energy she feels before you speak, how women instantly categorize you. When you walk into a room, you're not speaking yet, but something already is. It's not your clothes, not your words. It's your energy. Imagine walking into a storm. You don't need to see lightning to know it's there. You feel the tension in the air. That's what happens when a man enters a woman's space. Within seconds 10, maybe less, she places you in a box. Not because she's shallow, but because her subconscious is faster than her logic. This is the secret truth most men never learn. Women don't choose based on what you say, they choose based on how you exist. This isn't about manipulation or game, it's about presence. And in the philosophy of Stoicism, presence is everything. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Your energy doesn't ask for validation, it announces who you are. From the moment you appear, she begins sorting. She doesn't do this to judge, she does this to protect her heart. Every woman has evolved this radar, your posture, your eye contact, the stillness in your breath. They all say something louder than words. If your energy is uncertain, she feels caution. If it's needy, she feels pressure. But if your presence is grounded, she feels curiosity, desire. Psychologically, this is called rapid affective categorization. Within 7-10 seconds, the female brain assesses the emotional and physical safety of your energy. But it's not safety in the way nice guys think. It's not, will he buy me things? It's, can I melt around him and not regret it tomorrow? 3 boxes, that's all you get. First, the fun guy, the man who lights a spark. He's unpredictable, maybe even dangerous, but exciting. Second, the provider, stable, safe, but lacking the fire. Third, the emotional mule, helpful, loyal, but invisible. Most men fall into this last one, and they never realize they were categorized before the conversation even started. The tragedy: you can't logic your way out of these boxes. Once placed there, the label is hard to shake. You can buy gifts, send long texts, wait patiently, but none of it rewrites the energy she felt when she first met you. Modern men believe they need to prove themselves, that if they just say the right thing, wear the right cologne, or wait long enough, she'll come around. This is the illusion that destroys desire. In truth, the harder you try to be liked, the more you signal that your center, your core, is unstable. Let's shatter this myth. She's not rejecting you because you're too kind. She's rejecting the energy of a man who needs her approval. That's what makes her feel suffocated, not your kindness, but your dependence. A Stoic man doesn't seek classification. He walks in, already centered. His value isn't up for debate. He isn't asking to be chosen, he's choosing to show up as who he is. And that's what makes him impossible to ignore. So how do you shift your energy? Not by trying harder, but by peeling away everything that isn't grounded. Presence is the art of subtraction. Practice silence not as a tactic, but as a state. Walk slowly, breathe from your stomach, hold eye contact not to impress, but to see. When you speak, let your words rise from stillness, not anxiety. Here's one practical shift. Next time you meet a woman, don't ask, will she like me? Ask instead, Can she feel my calm energy is invisible, but it always leaves a trace. If she feels peace around you, not performance, she leans in. If she feels tension, she retreats. Marcus Aurelius again reminds us, the tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do. That's the core of magnetic energy. It doesn't need to pursue, it attracts by being still. What you must understand is this. Women remember how you made them feel, not what you said, not even what you looked like, but how your presence made their nervous system react. The man she can't stop thinking about, it's not because he had the best jawline, it's because when she stood near him, her body whispered, "This is different." You don't need to be louder, richer, taller, or funnier. You need to be rooted. That's what she's waiting for. A man who isn't trying to enter her world, but who invites her into his calm. Now, comment below. My presence speaks louder than my words. Let it be the mantra you carry into every room. Because the moment she feels your energy, the moment she classifies you, is the moment you've already spoken without saying a word. Number 2. The invisible sorting system. Why she reacts to him and not you. Walk into any room, and you'll notice something strange. Some men immediately draw female attention without saying a word. Others try everything, charm, kindness, conversation, and get nothing but polite indifference. Why? Because whether we admit it or not, women have a silent, invisible sorting system. It doesn't take days or even minutes. Within 10 seconds, they've already placed you into a box, and once you're in, you rarely escape. She's not doing this consciously. She's responding to your energy, your presence, your body language, the tension you radiate, or the comfort you signal. And based on how you make her feel, not what you say, she instinctively places you into one of 3 emotional categories: the fun guy, the husband material, or the emotional mule. Let's start with the fun guy. He's bold, unpredictable, and carries a kind of emotional tension that makes her pulse quicken. He doesn't over-explain, he doesn't ask for permission. He leans in slowly, says little, holds eye contact longer than most men are comfortable with. His presence creates a spark not because of his looks or money, but because of how he makes her feel, uncertain, alive, slightly on edge. This unpredictability fuels desire, and that's the difference. Women don't fall in love with what's safe. They fall for what makes them feel. She doesn't stop to analyze it. She doesn't ask herself if it's smart. She just knows something about him feels electric, so she acts on it. This is the man she sleeps with without waiting. The man she dreams about later without knowing why. He triggers her instinct, not her logic. Then comes the second box, husband material. He's calm, reliable, and thoughtful, but often too available. He's the man who offers her safety but lacks emotional charge. He texts back quickly. He remembers birthdays. He opens doors and pays for dinner. She respects him, but she doesn't crave him. And that distinction is everything. She might say, he's a great guy, but she won't fantasize about him. He feels predictable. Even if he's perfect on paper, he gives her peace, not butterflies. And because there's no urgency, she delays. She'll keep him close, but not close enough. He waits, he hopes, but deep down, he knows she's not reaching for him the same way. Then, there's the last box, the emotional mule. This is the man who carries her emotional weight. He listens when she cries about other men. He picks her up when her car breaks down. He's always available, always kind, always overlooked. Why? Because his energy screams, "I'll serve you, not I'll seduce you." He gets used not out of malice, but because he offers everything without tension, without challenge, without edge. He's safe, he's soft, he's invisible. And sadly, this is where many nice guys end up, not because they're too good, but because their goodness is transactional. They don't give from abundance, they give to earn. They offer attention, hoping for affection. They trade favors for feelings. And women feel this, even if they can't explain it. So how does a man avoid this fate? Through presence, intention, and emotional clarity, all core principles of Stoic philosophy. A Stoic man doesn't react impulsively. He doesn't rush to fill silence. He doesn't offer himself on a silver platter hoping to be chosen. He chooses his actions, guards his energy, and respects his own standards. The fun guy, the one who creates tension, may not have read Marcus Aurelius, but he embodies the same essence, presence without attachment. He knows he doesn't need to earn desire, he only needs to be, and let her respond. Women don't remember men for their politeness. They remember the way a man made them feel uncertain, excited, challenged. That's what creates impact. That's what sticks in their minds days later when the room is quiet and the phone is silent. So if you find yourself constantly being there but never being wanted, if you're always the safe space but never the spark, it's time to change your energy, not your words. It's time to stop auditioning and start existing with weight. Be less predictable. Speak less. Watch more. Hold the pause. Say no. Walk away when it's not mutual. Don't try to prove your worth, live it. And most importantly, never try to buy affection with your time, your wallet, or your emotional labor. True connection doesn't respond to effort, it responds to presence. A woman may not remember what you said. She may not even remember your face, but she will never forget how it felt to be in your gravity that moment when you said nothing. And she leaned closer without knowing why. Now, speak out and comment below. I won't ask to be chosen, I'll become undeniable. Number 3. She chooses desire, not logic. Why sexual chemistry always wins first. A man can give her everything, his loyalty, his attention, his time. He can be her safest space, the one who never judges, always shows up, always understands. But if he doesn't make her feel something in her body, that spark, that pull, that deep unconscious, yes, she won't choose him, not first, not fully, not passionately. This is the truth most men refuse to accept. Sexual chemistry comes before emotional safety. You don't earn her desire by being available. You don't awaken her heart by being predictable. You trigger it through presence, tension, and a moment that bypasses thought entirely. When a woman feels desire, she doesn't ask questions. She acts. It's not planned. It's not logical. It's chemical. He walks into a room. He barely says anything, but something about the way he stands, the way he holds eye contact, the way he moves without hesitation makes her nervous and drawn in all at once. She doesn't need to know his job or background. She just wants to be near him. That's chemistry. Then you have the man who tries. He listens. He texts back in seconds. He shares stories. He comforts her pain. He does everything right, but still ends up alone. Why? Because he gave her comfort, not combustion. And comfort doesn't inspire chase. Comfort doesn't ignite obsession. It only earns appreciation. But here's the harsh reality. Appreciation isn't attraction. She can admire your kindness, your empathy, your emotional availability, and still not feel an ounce of desire for you. In fact, the more safe you feel without tension, the more invisible you become sexually. You become her brother, her emotional safety net, her soft place to fall when someone else excites her and disappears. She might call you a great guy. She might say, you deserve better, but she'll still choose the man who makes her wonder, not the one who always reassures. So what creates that difference? It's not looks. It's not wealth. It's not pickup lines or compliments. It's energy, the kind that Stoic men understand intuitively. The man who doesn't chase, the man who doesn't try to impress, the man who stays grounded in himself, speaks with stillness, and moves like someone who needs no validation. That man radiates gravity, and women feel it. A Stoic man doesn't beg for connection, he allows it. He doesn't throw himself into conversations hoping to be liked. He listens, observes, and only engages when it feels natural. He holds eye contact just long enough to create discomfort, not because he's trying to dominate, but because he's not afraid to be seen. This creates tension, and tension is the seed of desire. Women respond to tension with emotion, curiosity, and yes, even lust. They lean in, not because he said the perfect thing, but because his presence made them feel a spark they couldn't explain. That spark is everything without it. The relationship never moves past surface-level safety. Emotional safety has a place, but it's not the entry point. It's what keeps her. It's what builds trust. But it's not what draws her in. That role belongs to sexual polarity, and polarity requires difference, not sameness. She doesn't want a mirror of her emotions. She wants someone who brings a different fire one she can't access alone. So if you've been the guy who's always there for her, always responding, always available, and yet she keeps choosing someone else, understand this. Your availability made you predictable. Predictability removes tension, and without tension, there is no chemistry. You were emotionally safe, but you weren't electrifying. And women don't fantasize about safe men. They lean on them when their heart is broken by the man who was electrifying. What's the solution? Stop trying to earn affection through effort. Start generating impact through energy. Cultivate presence. Own your silence. Speak slower. Hold eye contact. Let your stillness speak louder than words. Show that your validation doesn't come from her reactions, but from your own sense of worth. This is the art of masculine polarity. This is what Stoic attraction looks like. Because when a man carries stillness, when his energy feels untouchable, he becomes unforgettable. Not because he said something brilliant, but because, in his presence, she felt something she couldn't control. That's the difference. That's the win. Now, speak out and comment below. I create attraction through presence, not performance. Number 4. Why the nice guy always loses. It was never about your kindness. You think she rejected you because you were too nice? But that's not the full story. She didn't walk away because of your generosity, your support, or your loyalty. She walked away because your kindness came with an invisible string, a silent plea. Please see me. Please choose me. Please validate me. And that is what she rejected. Because women don't run from kindness. They run from neediness disguised as kindness. From the man who does things not because he chooses to, but because he hopes he'll be chosen in return. This is the nice guy's fatal error. He believes love can be earned by performance, that if he gives enough attention, time, money, emotional labor, she will eventually reward him with the one thing he wants, her affection. But desire doesn't work like that. Affection isn't a vending machine. And women are not emotionally blind. They feel the difference between true giving and transactional giving. One comes from a place of abundance. The other is built on a quiet desperation. The nice guy is often generous but anxious, available but invisible, supportive but forgettable. Why? Because every gesture he makes is stained with expectation. He listens to her vent about other men, hoping that one day she'll wake up and realize he was the right choice all along. But she doesn't. She never will. Because she never saw him as a man, only as an emotional mule. In his attempt to be everything, he becomes nothing. Women don't desire the man who offers everything. They desire the man who withholds not out of cruelty, but out of standards, out of dignity, out of self-respect. The truth is, a woman cannot be seduced by a man who tries to become her solution. She is drawn to the one who doesn't need her validation to breathe. That's why the bad boy wins, not because he's cruel, but because he's detached. His value isn't up for negotiation. His time isn't given away like spare change. And this creates tension. Tension creates mystery, and mystery breeds desire. The nice guy tries to solve desire with logic. If I'm always there, if I give her everything, she'll choose me. But desire is irrational. You don't earn it. You awaken it through your presence, your detachment, and your sense of self-worth. This is where Stoicism offers a radical shift. A Stoic man doesn't beg for connection. He doesn't perform. He simply is. Present, calm, whole. He gives because he wants to, not because he needs something back. And if the energy isn't matched, he walks away not in anger, but in power. He doesn't ask to be seen. His presence speaks louder than any plea. That's why Stoic men don't become emotional mules. They don't invest where there's no return. They don't mistake availability for attraction. They know that if she truly desires you, you won't have to ask for her attention, you'll have to manage it. The nice guy exhausts himself chasing shadows. The Stoic man attracts by standing still. Imagine this. Two men. One sends paragraphs, heart emojis, playlists, Uber Eats at midnight. The other, he texts once, a sentence. Then he disappears into his mission, into his focus, into himself. Who does she think about? Not the man who was always there, but the man she had to wonder about. Because presence isn't about proximity, it's about impact. And impact is never born out of performance. It is born from conviction, from being centered, from being enough without applause. So if you've been the nice guy, always doing more, always hoping she'll notice, step back. Reclaim your energy. Give because it aligns with who you are. Not because you want to be chosen. Speak because it's true. Not because you want a reaction. And love only those who show you they are capable of loving you back. You don't need to change your kindness. You need to remove your need for recognition. Because real men don't need to be validated to feel valuable. They already are. And once you live that truth, she'll feel it. She won't be able to explain why, but she'll think about you. Often, long after the nice guy is forgotten. Now, speak out and comment below. I give from strength, not from need. Number 5. She doesn't choose you for your looks or money. It's the gravity of your presence. She doesn't remember the price of your shoes. She won't recall the car you drove or the restaurant you took her to. But she'll never forget how you made her feel in the silence between your words. Modern men are conditioned to believe they need more to win her attention, more money, more charm, more effort. But women are not moved by performance. They are moved by presence. Not every man understands this. That's why they flood her inbox with long texts, show off their status, or offer gifts before attraction even begins. They try to impress her with the obvious. But the truth is, the masculine energy that captivates her lives in the invisible space between doing and being. You see, a woman's psychological filter is not logical, it's energetic. In the first few seconds, she doesn't consciously process what you're saying. She absorbs your vibe. She reads your stillness. She notices whether you're centered or seeking. She asks herself, does this man lead his world? Or does he orbit mine? And in that quiet question, you've already been chosen or dismissed. The man who tries too hard becomes predictable. And predictability kills tension. When she knows exactly what's coming next, another compliment, another offer, another desperate smile, she disconnects. Not out of cruelty, but because there's no mystery left to chase. But the man who speaks little and observes more, who pauses between his words, who can lean back while the world tries to pull him forward, that man becomes unforgettable. Because he doesn't seek attention, he creates gravity. Gravity doesn't chase, gravity pulls. That's what women fall for. Not looks, not wealth, not clever lines, but the silent command of a man who doesn't need the room to validate his worth. The one whose presence makes her heartbeat slow down or race without reason. This is the kind of power you don't learn from dating coaches or pick-up lines. This is stoic presence. It's built through discipline, solitude, purpose. It's the byproduct of a man who knows who he is, even when no one is watching. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. It stands unmoved and the raging of the sea falls still around it." That's the kind of man she remembers. The one she can't shake even after the date ends because he never tried to be remembered. He simply existed with depth. There's a reason women say, he just had something about him. It's not about your height, your bank account, or your job title. It's about your energy signature, the vibration that says, I don't chase, I align. The more you try to convince her of your value, the more she feels you don't have it. The less you need to explain yourself, the more she wonders who you really are. And mystery is the seed of attraction. Let's be clear, this isn't about being emotionally unavailable or cold. Stoic presence is not apathy, it's calm intensity. It's being so grounded in your own purpose that she feels both safe and challenged in your presence. It's the calm you bring to chaos, the steady gaze you hold when she tries to test you, the confidence in your silence that says, you can come closer, but I won't beg. That's why the men who talk the least are often the most seductive. not because they say nothing, but because they say only what matters. They are not performers. They are architects of emotion. They build tension not with tricks, but with restraint. A man who owns his space doesn't ask to be seen. He is felt like the low rumble of thunder before the storm. He doesn't flash lightning. He lets her feel the shift in the air when he enters a room. In contrast, the man who overinvests, who tries to buy affection with gifts or impress with non-stop words, becomes emotionally transparent. He loses the very ambiguity that breeds interest. She figures him out before he even gets started, and once she can fully predict you, she stops imagining you. The Stoic man, however, knows that not all energy deserves his investment. He observes, he selects, he withholds, not to manipulate, but to preserve his peace. His generosity is sacred. His attention is earned. His love, when given, is rare, and that's what makes it powerful. So if you've been wondering why your efforts haven't paid off, perhaps it's time to stop performing and start being. Stop chasing moments and start creating stillness. The real prize is not the woman who validates your worth, it's the woman who recognizes it without needing you to prove anything. Stand still, let her feel the gravity of your silence. And if she walks away, let her, because the man who needs to be chosen to feel worthy has already lost. But the man who chooses himself first becomes unforgettable. Now, comment below, I attract with presence, not performance. Number 6. The cost of overgiving. When kindness becomes a silent repellent. He thought he was doing everything right. He paid for dinner. He complimented her dress. He texted good morning every day without fail. But her responses were short, cold, distant, and then, suddenly, she was gone, just like that. What went wrong? The answer is uncomfortable but powerful. He gave too much. Too soon before attraction had the chance to root itself. In the masculine journey, there is a common trap disguised as virtue. Men are taught to give to be generous, attentive, reliable. But when that generosity comes before desire, it feels like a bribe, and no woman wants to feel bought. In the psychology of attraction, giving without a foundation of desire doesn't build love, it repels it. Why? Because it carries a scent, a hidden need, a quiet whisper that says, please notice me, please choose me. That's not love, that's performance, and performance always leads to exhaustion and rejection. When a man gives too early, whether it's his money, time, attention, or validation, it signals that he values her before she has shown she values him. It flips the dynamic upside down. Instead of being the prize, he becomes the pursuer. Instead of creating tension, he creates comfort. And comfort without chemistry is the fastest route to friend zone. From a Stoic perspective, this is the ultimate violation of self-control. The wise man does not give to be liked. He gives when it's just, when it's earned, when it's right. Because overgiving is not a reflection of confidence. It's a signal of insecurity dressed as kindness. Picture this. 2 men meet the same woman. The first man, immediately enchanted, sends her gifts, praises her constantly, and offers to rearrange his schedule to spend time with her. He believes his generosity will win her heart. But to her, it feels desperate, as if he's already placed her on a pedestal she hasn't asked to stand on. The second man is different. He listens, smiles, and offers presence, but he doesn't chase. He doesn't flatter. He doesn't rush. He lets the silence breathe. And when he finally does something generous, a thoughtful gesture, a well-placed compliment, it hits hard, not because it's more impressive, but because it came from a place of restraint. That is Stoic seduction, not giving for approval, but giving from alignment. When a man learns this, he becomes untouchable. No longer does he waste energy on women who show no curiosity. No longer does he invest in someone who hasn't earned a seat at his table. He waits. He watches. He chooses just as much as he wishes to be chosen. Because the high-value man understands something most men forget. Her attention is not the goal, his integrity is. The truth is, women don't reject kindness. They reject neediness hidden inside kindness. There's a difference between generosity and self-abandonment. One is attractive, the other is exhausting. The man who respects himself holds back, not to play games, but to protect his peace. He's not rude, but he's not eager. He's not cold, but he's not desperate. He gives from abundance, not from the hope that his offering will be exchanged for affection. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Receive without pride, let go without attachment." This includes the outcomes of your actions. If you give, give without expectation. If you act, act without demand. If you love, love without begging. This is what women feel, not your words, not your efforts, but your intent. If she senses your giving is a test, will she like me now? She backs away. But if she feels that you're whole without her, that your actions come from strength, not craving, she leans in, because wholeness is rare, and rare men become irresistible. So the next time you feel the urge to impress her with a gift, a long message, or an over-eager compliment, pause. Ask yourself, is this coming from confidence? Or from a quiet hope that she'll finally see me? Give only when you are centered. Speak only when you have something meaningful to say. And never, never give more than her interest can carry. Because when desire isn't mutual, generosity becomes a burden. And when a man tries to buy what he hasn't earned, he doesn't get respect, he gets silence. Stand still. Let her meet you in the middle. If she doesn't walk away with your dignity intact, the prize is not her attention. The prize is your energy. And that's something you should never give away for free. Here's what no one told you. Women don't reject your kindness. They reject your need. They don't run from your gifts. They run from your need for validation behind them. You were never meant to chase. You were meant to attract by embodying silence, stillness, and presence. Because when your energy is calm and your actions come from choice, not desperation, she won't just notice you, she'll remember you. Don't try to prove your worth. Be the man who is the prize. Be the mystery she can't decode. Be the tension she can't shake off. Because once she feels that depth, the calm dominance, the detachment, the inner fire masked in silence, she'll chase that feeling again and again. So stop trying to be understood. Start becoming unforgettable. Now, speak out and comment below. I attract through presence, not pursuit.